Okay, so what is this now? Week 15?
Week 15.
Yeah, and pretty far along in the season. We're even more than like halfway over, including playoffs and all that.
Sad. Really is.
Yeah, it comes down to it. So, is there anything we'd like to change addendums on at the start of the year? I'd like to stay firm on my Steelers are trash and the Jets are trash. Niners, I'm a hater at this point, but
They're not trash.
no, absolutely not. It's weird to say. I feel they definitely were overrated, though, despite the fact they've only lost 2 games at this point. I don't know.
I can't talk crap on them. I did, but their team is just so freaking good. You could put anyone at quarterback and win games there. I don't care. Their team, they got a good defense, good run game. They're not overrated.
Yeah.
So
It's weird. I'm just saying. I'm sticking firm with the Steelers. I think that one's still right. That one I genuinely believe in referee bullcrap. And the Jets are just outright trash.
I still kind of think the Bills aren't all that.
Well, of course not. No.
Well, I thought the Baltimore game would be telling, and
kind of was.
they lost. So I don't think they didn't really beat anyone worth noting.
Yeah.
The Jets, Bengals, Dolphins, blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, let's get into it.
Yeah, all right.
Thursday Night Football, it's I think the last week of primetime games, and it's the Jets at the Ravens.
Oh, Christ.
We even really need to talk about this game.
Well, we need to talk about the Jets a bit. What's
Yeah.
funny is they benefited from 2 calls under 2 minutes. The booth in New York said Jets got a touchdown and a game-winning field goal based off a overturned PI call. Dolphins were the better team. They lost to the Jets because of referees. Not sure why they'd pull for the Jets. Kind of helps me out, so I'm less bitter than I would be. My point is, the Jets were fighting for the classic revenge game, you know? Like, oh, I left this team to go coach this team, and now we're going to show you, old team. And Gase fell flat on his face this first time. This is a game he absolutely needed. And the funny thing about that is he didn't even earn it himself. The Jets, the refs gave them a win. So, based on that alone, what did Baltimore do to a good defensive team?
They won.
Of course.
So
My point is, the Jets needed help to beat a bad team, and that's the same team the Ravens dropped 59 points on. So
you're saying they're going to drop 59 points to the Jets?
I think of all the 50 burgers we've dropped this year, if there were a betting line, yeah, bet on this one being one of the 50 burgers.
I think this is actually going to be a dumb game, just because...
Dumb like boring?
Probably boring. Ravens have had a lot of injuries lately, and the Jets have had a lot of injuries lately, so don't be surprised if it's like 30-21 or... I don't know.
I don't even expect it being like 3 scores close. This is typical blowout. Take the Ravens and take the points, unless the points are like 30. Yeah.
No, I don't think this... I think it's 14.5.
That's still safe.
I would still take that.
I'd totally take that spread. Go.
All right, moving on. Miami at the Giants. Ooh, this is a...
God, the Giants had a heartbreaker.
It's going to be a dumb game, man.
Oh, it's been dumb.
I'm actually going to pick the Dolphins in this one.
Well, I mean, I don't need to tell you who I'd pick. I thought Miami's turned the Jets on a little bit at the end of the year.
That's what I think, too, because I think the Dolphins are actually showing a little bit of fight, and they want to fight for their coach.
Absolutely.
They're showing more to me than the Giants are. And
yeah.
Eli Manning didn't look that good.
Well, he provided a spark for literally one half.
For a half, and then I don't know how the Eagles ended up winning that game, but
that was a sad game, and we'll get to that. Someone's got to win that division, but that was a really sad game for the Giants, like one they could have had, and then they just fell apart. At least the Giants fell apart on their own merits, though. Like the second half, they just got outplayed, whereas at no point were the Dolphins outplayed. So I think Dolphins win this one.
Same.
And, Miami doesn't fall for the typical away game travel. Like, you go one place to another. Yeah, they just stayed over week in New York.
I think the Giants, to me, are like the Lions. They're laying down. They gave up. They don't care anymore. They're waiting for the draft. No, they shouldn't care.
Do you think they could get the 6th overall pick again?
Maybe.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
All right, New England at Cincinnati. Since New England has to cheat,
God, it's
pretty
every day.
Why? They tried defending it and saying that they weren't going to use it, but they had 8 minutes of their
Play calls.
their play calling. And just,
From a press box. A typical
Everyone
place
else-
you can't normally.
everyone else is beating the Cincinnati besides the Jets. Like, why you can't lose to these guys?
You want to know what's funny is the answer is just kind of obvious conspiracy level bullcrap, but it makes a stupid amount of sense. The Pats have just lost 2 straight to quality AFC opponents. If they lost another, they could lose the tiebreaker to the Chiefs.
No way they're going to lose to Cincinnati, though.
If they did, and the Chiefs won next week, they'd drop, they'd be tied, Chiefs would now be the 2 seed, and Patriots know full well they need referee calls, and they get more referee calls at home. That is always their path to the Super Bowl,
Except
and that's why they rely so much on the first and second seed.
Except this week, they did get kind of screwed over at home.
They lost, well, yeah, but
no one feels sorry for
I don't care. Honestly,
no one feels
last
sorry
year,
for him, man.
Last year, it was in KC, the championship game. Then the refs pulled for them. I mean, you can't touch Brady on the shoulder. Fuck off. It's annoying. I'm good. I hate refs. I do, but fuck the Pats, dude. They deserve that. And hearing them bitch, it's a little bit cathartic, is it not?
Dude, it's funny.
It's
Hearing them complain about the referees, it's like, I mean, how do you even come up with an analogy like that? That's like a rich kid having everything he wants for his entire life, and then one day his dad tells him no, and he throws a temper tantrum.
I've got a better one. How about rather than getting a gold yacht, he's got a silver one? Like, boot frickin' move.
I only have a $30 million yacht instead of a $50 million yacht.
It's pathetic. But my point is, New England is desperate, so that is why they needed to cheat. And honestly, it's just the Bengals that caught them. This shows me they've been doing it for a while, and they never stopped.
Who knows how long the first Spygate went on for, or Deflategate.
Yep.
This is just
It's a long line of things. And their typical responses of, oh, come on, it wasn't our guys. Now even those defenses are getting played out. Like, oh, we didn't tell our team to go do it, but they were filming for us for our channel.
They hired them. They paid them. They were Patriots people. Just, you cheated. Deal with it.
It's sad. Oh, on that note, yeah, New England will still totally win, which makes
Without
them cheating absolutely, dumb as hell. But whatever. That rant's over.
Tampa Bay, Detroit.
That's an interesting one. I actually find myself leaning Detroit.
Tampa Bay.
I know.
Tampa Bay, man.
Here's the thing. Jameis Winston's played phenomenally the last few weeks.
No,
yards and touchdown-wise. Throws those interceptions
Almost like
out the
500
window.
yards, 4 touchdowns every game.
32 touchdowns, 28 INTs. I don't know what the hell he is, but he's fun to watch on fantasy. On that note, he's beat teams he arguably shouldn't have beaten this year. So let's just be an asshole and say this is a team he should beat. Well, now he's absolutely not. The Detroit Lions with their third backup, they're going to win for literally no reason.
They have nothing. I mean, Tampa Bay doesn't have anything to play for, but Detroit really doesn't have anything to play for. So, I mean, is anyone going to watch this game? I feel like there's a couple games that aren't even worth watching this week, and this is one of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're both eliminated from playoff contention. Like,
hell, it's no merit. It's like these tickets for these games have to be like $5.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'll pick Detroit. I got to find my picks, just make sure.
I'm going with Tampa Bay, but we'll move on. I don't think there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, I went with Detroit.
Really? You went with Detroit? All right.
Just to be an asshole, straight up.
All right, fine. Chicago at Green Bay.
Chicago's playing a bit better. I heard a lot of people gushing over Mitch Trubisky's stats last week.
Who did they play last week?
The Cowboys.
Terrible defense. Shut up.
No way, right? Yeah, no.
Actually, no, they're ranked 8th overall.
They're weird. But the thing is we said it last week. If the Cowboys, and the thing that has crushed the Cowboys this year is making opposing quarterbacks look like
all-stars.
Yeah.
Absolute all-stars.
And now the newest one to pass that test is Mitch goddamn Trubisky.
And we all know he sucks, and then he plays one good game, and you're like, okay.
Exactly. So are the Bears back? No. Cowboys just suck somehow, despite having a statistically great defense.
And an offense.
Green Bay, I'm starting to think they might be a bit of a pretender, but this is a game where Green Bay wins. I mean, they're
fighting for the division, man.
Yeah, they may be a pretender, but the Bears are even more so.
Absolutely.
This is a game where Bears fans talk a lot of smack and they get really goddamn humbled.
Does Chicago ever even beat Green Bay?
I mean,
not really.
Fun fact, I mean, like, the Bears actually hold the edge all the time. It's weird. You wouldn't expect it, given the last 2 decades it's been just so very one-sided. But yeah.
Must have been good in the 80s then.
But Green Bay.
All right.
Green Bay.
Green Bay. Is this even a question?
But the Bears will be interesting the next 3 weeks. They got some playoff implications, especially in the opponents.
They ain't making the playoffs.
It'll be good.
Houston at Tennessee, and finally a game we're talking about. I kind of want to go with Tennessee here. Not gonna lie.
Just kind of want to go with them.
Just kind of want to go with them because they can't lose out. They're playing too good to lose out.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's also playing too good to lose out.
Yeah,
they play each other twice in the next 3 weeks.
And that quarterback they got just putting up like really good numbers, like shockingly good numbers.
One of the Dolphins had a quarterback.
Oh yeah.
But usually division rivals like this, they split. And I'd figure normally the home team wins.
Yeah, but I'm also picking Tennessee. But the thing is, Tennessee's trending up. Houston's trending down. And that's a weird thing to say given that they just beat the Pats. But as we've insisted, the Pats are kind of overrated.
But then they lost to the Broncos.
Exactly.
They got blown out.
31-3 at halftime.
It's like
38-3 just after halftime.
I did not expect that, man. That was weird.
And you can't even blame it all on defensive scores. I'm pretty sure they had a fumble return, maybe a pick six too. But Jesus, 38.
They did have a fumble return. They did have a defensive score.
That's still 24
I
points.
know.
The Texans barely scored that with garbage time.
But normally when a team gets, blown out or just embarrassed, they usually bounce back the next week. I'm not taking them to bounce back this week.
No.
I don't think the Texans are all that.
I think the Titans actually are. I think they found their superstar. We did predict him to start. I will say that. That was fun. And I think they'll beat the Texans. I think... Plus, it'll make it really interesting because they dropped 2 games to division opponents earlier in the year. But that's when they had Mariota weighing them down.
Yep.
So, if they win this could be like... We've been giving the division to the Texans for weeks, but it might actually be the Titans, and we just didn't know it all along. They've been just quietly getting better and better.
It could be the Titans, not going to lie. Titans could win the division. But they have a hard schedule. They have Houston twice and the Saints.
But as we said, Houston might be trending down. So
they got to beat Houston. If they want a shot at beating or winning the division, they got to beat Houston.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Denver at Kansas City.
So Denver may be trending up.
No, they're not. I don't believe Drew Lock just yet. It's only been 2 games, and he's played. But the Texans had a pretty bad defense.
Sure.
It's like 25th or 26th total. It's not very good. Who did they play the week before? It wasn't even a good defense. The Chargers. The Chargers.
No. The Texans played the Patriots 2 weeks ago.
No, the Broncos.
Ah, yes.
The Broncos beat the Chargers, and the Broncos somehow have the Chargers number. The Chargers are like the Cowboys. They're statistically good, but they just can't put it together, so they're easily beat.
Yep.
So
they're weird.
Maybe Drew Lock's good. I just need to see more of him, honestly, to get a really good gauge on him. I need to see him throughout this year and a little bit into next year.
So you think the first week may have been, they always got the number. The second week was just weird.
You don't have tape on the guy here.
So rather than thinking it's a trend up type of thing, it just so happens it fell this way. And now we realize Casey's still amazing and will beat the crap out of the Broncos.
Oh, yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Kansas City's starting to play a lot better.
Defensively is the big thing.
I know,
they are really good.
Defensively, they are. I don't think there's any much left.
No, I mean,
Kansas City's going to win.
Broncos fans could bet the Broncos. I wouldn't recommend it because I think it's not a smoke where there's smoke, there's fire thing. I think it's that they got lucky.
That in Kansas City plays this division like super good.
Oh yeah, they've lost 3 division games in 4 years?
Kansas City's gonna win.
Oh yeah.
Philadelphia at Washington. If you were to ask me this at the beginning of the year, I'd be like, oh yeah, Philadelphia's got this by a mile. But now I'm not too sure because Philadelphia might be as bad as the Cowboys. And Washington is hot garbage, but I do think Philadelphia is going to win, but how much do I trust them to go? I put like 1 point on them to go into Washington and be Washington because they're so bad.
You know what's funny is I feel exactly this week the way I felt about the Giants last week, where I chose the Eagles easily, and I'm like, oh yeah, they'll easily win. And then they were losing at halftime, and I figured I'd be shocked, and I was more like, honestly, I could have seen that coming too. And then they won, and I'm like, okay. I mean, I was right. Could have been wrong. This is the exact same thing. If Philly's losing at halftime, somehow wouldn't be surprised, but I'd still expect them to eke it out. But by Christ, if they don't.
Okay, do you think Green Bay is better than Philadelphia?
Yes.
They only beat Washington by 5. At home. I feel like they should have run away with that, but they didn't. So.
That was a pathetic game on Green Bay's part.
So, can Philadelphia beat Washington by more than a touchdown? Probably not. The Eagles suck this year. I thought they'd be good, but...
I'm going with Philly, though. I feel after all our
It's
smack
obvious,
talk.
but it's not obvious because they also almost lost to the Giants, lost to...
I'm just gonna say they need this one if they
lost
want
to the Dolphins.
That was fun. Don't knock it. It was fun.
I'm not knocking it. I'm making fun of them.
I know. But yeah, Philly at the very least they have something to play for. Washington shouldn't. At least go the psychology route with this one.
Okay. What if Dallas wins out and Philadelphia wins out? Wait, do they play each other?
Yeah, they do.
Okay, never mind. All right, Seattle at Carolina.
I mean, are you picking Carolina?
No.
No, me neither.
Do we need to talk about it anymore?
I feel we should, but you might just waste time. Not a lot of people watch anyway.
Seattle's got everything to play for. Aren't they the 5 seed right now? Didn't they just drop to the 5 seed with the Niners winning and them losing?
Yep.
They have the 1 seed to play for. There's no way in hell they lose to Carolina.
Well, it's 2 seed, but yes.
What?
Well, when Seahawks lost, they dropped from 2 seed to 5 seed. They wouldn't be the 1st seed because Saints were the 1st seed over them.
I don't think the Saints were the 1st seed, dude.
They were. It's just the Niners happened to beat the Saints. It was a simultaneous thing.
Anyway, they're playing to win the division. Whereas Carolina is playing to get a new quarterback next year, probably.
Yeah.
What
happened to Kyle Allen? I thought he was cool for a minute.
Same thing with what I said about Drew Lock. You don't have tape on them. Usually quarterbacks like Gardner Minshew, they do good like their first 2 weeks, and then teams like, okay, this is what they do, this is their tendency. Figure them out. And they're not the same anymore.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
They're just undrafted guys. They're not spectacular. Kyle Allen's the same difference.
All right.
All right. Seattle will win by 2 touchdowns.
Maybe 1 touchdown, I'd say.
Okay. Jacksonville at Oakland. Is this game even worth watching?
I heard an interesting thing. I was reading power rankings, and someone actually dropped the Jags to 32nd in the league.
Ouch.
I kind of understood it, though. They've now been blown out, and I mean blowouts, like statistical, like at least 17 points, 3 weeks straight, and that's a pretty rare occurrence. And their argument was, you know what? As weird of a team you guys are, if you're not going to at least show me something, I'm not going to try and figure you out, and I'm just going to say dog crap.
Oakland's going to win this.
They should, absolutely. Oakland dug themselves a big hole, but the Jags aren't going to be, what buries them. You know what I mean?
No. Especially if you're not even showing any sort of fight back at all.
Yeah. And Oakland's got it.
Would you expect Oakland to be like 6-7 like a month ago?
I was riding pretty high on them, but it was just that loss to the Jets. I'd see them being 1 game better than they are right now. Still pretty good for the wild card, but that 1 loss just threw the whole system.
They're not making playoffs.
No, but they'll beat the Jags.
Should. I mean, who's even the Jaguars quarterback this week?
Have they benched Foles?
Is it Foles or is it Minshew? I don't know.
I don't care, honestly.
They're losing either way.
Let's move on to the next one. I'm losing interest talking about this one. Come on.
Alrighty, we got Cleveland at Arizona.
Arizona kind of fell flat against the Duck. But they were in a position to win that game. Do you think Cleveland's better than Pittsburgh? Because I kind of do, despite what their records state.
They split.
But, I mean...
I kind of want to pick Arizona in this one, not going to lie.
I already did pick Arizona in this one. Wait a minute. I didn't. I picked Cleveland. What are you talking about?
Okay, Cleveland and Arizona to me are like the same team this year. They're basically out of the playoffs. Cleveland is. Arizona is. They're just fighting for next year, basically. Like, just show what you can, maybe get something excited for next year.
Okay.
And I think Arizona should win this game. I think that they don't really have much more to play for than Cleveland, but it's just a cross-country game that's hard to win. And if they're just as bad as Cleveland, why not Arizona win?
The thing with me is Arizona is finding ways to lose. The Steelers didn't even put up a good performance against them, and they just found a way to beat themselves. And
did you watch that game?
A little bit of it, yeah. I checked out the
refs
highlights.
Interfere?
No, I didn't watch that closely. They were highlights, but I noticed some things like interceptions in bad situations, like once in the end zone before the half or some crap, and just, dumb penalties like that, like a false start or an encroachment. But they're finding ways to lose. They ripped off that 3-game win streak against really bad teams.
Okay, but...
And now they're finding ways to lose.
Cleveland is the master at inventing fucking ways to lose games, though. We've seen this the last 10 years.
Hand off the fucking torch. I mean, I just think Cleveland is a little bit better with just
personnel-wise. I say personnel-wise, they're better.
Would it be funny if Arizona wins? Yeah, a little bit. I wouldn't even be that surprised. But I got to go with talent here. And Arizona has the potential. It's just they got some more buffing to do,
I'm not going to watch that game.
Well, no, I wouldn't recommend it.
Minnesota at the Chargers.
So Rivers should retire.
Minnesota should absolutely win this game. Even though the Chargers are statistically good, I don't think they're good whatsoever. And Phillip Rivers should absolutely retire.
Yeah.
Should just go spend time with his 30 kids, and maybe they could be a football team one day.
That'd be the angriest, pissed off team I'd ever see.
They'd be screaming at refs, even though they're helping them out. Dude, I thought that was a 15-yard penalty, not a 10.
Yeah, Chargers put up a good showing against the Jags, but as I just said, the Jags have been apathetic. Minnesota's showing fight, and they're
already in the playoffs. If they ended today, there's no reason Minnesota shouldn't fight for their lives.
Yeah, and this doesn't even have the makings of like that trap game that happened with the Chargers and Packers, because losing this game would absolutely destroy the Vikings, whereas with the Packers, they could afford that little bit of hubris. The Vikings they should be aware enough, like, guys, if we drop this game, we could be endangered. So they shouldn't sleep on them, and that would be how they would.
If they lose this game, the Rams can make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't think they do. Vikings are the better team, and they're well coached enough to not fall for a trap game.
A lot better roster, I feel like, at this point.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Best running back, best damn receivers damn near,
and it's not on prime time. The Vikings are fine.
It's going to happen in the playoffs, the Vikings.
It's not on a Monday. They should be fine.
Why are they so bad in prime time?
Kirk Cousins.
If they had playoff games not in prime time, they'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
But every playoff game is absolutely a primetime game, so one and done.
Well, yeah, that and a miracle one time.
It took a miracle to beat the Saints.
Oh, God.
All right. Rams at Dallas. Do the Rams have a chance to beat the undefeated Cowboys? I mean, dog shit Cowboys.
Undefeated was just an asshole thing to say. It almost made no contextual sense.
They're so popular, and I hate the Cowboys so much.
Just because of the popularity.
And Skip Bayless.
Oh, God, Skip Bayless.
But I don't think there's no reason the Rams shouldn't go in here and win.
I think the Rams are trash. I will not change from that, and I don't think they make the playoffs. But are the Cowboys going to beat them? No, they should. The Rams, hell.
Cowboys are a dumpster fire right now.
The problem with the Cowboys is they got overconfident on really, really bad teams. And they tried to make stories about talking about chicken nuggets rather than playing a football like a football team should.
Then got humbled.
Yeah, they got humbled, and then they realized, oh God, we're trash. And then just one win here and there against other bad teams. But are the Rams a bad team? No, they're not.
You said they're trash.
I think they're trash. I can be wrong.
Isn't
but are they bad statistically? No, they're fine.
They got a really good shot at making the playoffs.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they're losing to Dallas. You just came from losing a Super Bowl that you shouldn't have been in, but missing the playoffs, I mean, it does happen. That is statistically likely.
When you say their chances are good, I'd give it like 20%, because their way to the playoffs involves the Vikings losing a couple games they shouldn't too. So it's still
unlikely. It's actually higher than that. I can look up New York Times percentage. Right
I don't want to.
It's probably like 40.
23.
All right.
But yeah, Rams. Just screw Dallas, I guess. We could have just...
Screw Dallas.
Yeah, screw Dallas. I like it.
All right. Atlanta at San Francisco. Does Atlanta even have a prayer?
As an upset. And on that note...
Dude, San Francisco's going to murder them.
I mean, I understand why you'd say that.
They're a way better team by miles. By fucking light years.
Right.
I thought Atlanta was going to be good this year because of Matt Ryan, and he actually was having a really good year.
He still is.
But then I don't know. I guess I don't watch enough of Atlanta's games to really know what's going on, but I know what their record is, and it's damn near as close to San Francisco. I've watched a few of the Niners games, and they're a really good team.
I understand completely why you're picking the Niners.
Are you picking the Falcons?
I kind of did, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Hang on.
Explain your thought process.
Okay, hear me out. So, the Falcons, okay? Who was the last team they played that was really goddamn good?
The Saints.
The one-loss Saints, and they humbled the shit out of them. Didn't matter that it was in the Superdome.
Divisional game, man.
Sure. San Fran just did that in a shootout, which was crazy, okay? You're coming off a giant win like that. You're going to be overlooking the Falcons by virtue of metal alone. The Falcons don't throw in the towel. For whatever reason, Dan Quinn keeps on telling them to keep playing despite the fact they're already out of the playoffs.
So you think it's because they're overlooking them?
Yeah.
Do you think
the Niners have yet to fall for a trap game this year? Every other team has. The Niners haven't.
I don't think every team has. But I don't think the Niners should be overlooking them considering they have the one seed to play for and to hold on to.
Nearly every team. But they shouldn't.
If they fall for this trap game, you're dumb as shit.
They shouldn't, but here's the thing. Don't the Niners play the Seahawks next week?
Yes.
So I think they overlook this game in virtue of the actual division decider next week.
Yeah, dude, even if the Niners don't practice, I still think they're good enough to beat the Falcons at this point.
Sure. But, I mean, that's basically a Steeler thing, and they've done that the last few years.
We'll see. It should be like a 20-point favorite.
Oh, God, it's a week 17. Nah, it's Arizona and Seattle next week. Well, screw it.
Two trap games in a row.
So, let's just say the Niners will plan for two
trap games
weeks.
in a row.
Yeah. We can lose these next two and beat the Seahawks, and we're fine, guys. So they're really looking at that one.
And then the Cowboys are going to be hosting a 13-3 team.
Honestly, I don't need to justify it. Sometimes I just like to pick upsets. I'll pick the upset here.
I'm not. All right, Buffalo at Pittsburgh. I am going with Pittsburgh, surprisingly, out of this one.
Okay. This is weird. I'm a Dolphin fan, you're a Raven fan. You're going the Steelers?
Yeah.
I'm going the Bills.
Interesting.
Yeah. Why are you going the Steelers, though? Is it just...
They've been playing okay lately. As I said, I think the Bills are a little overrated. I don't think they're actually on the level with the top tier teams. I think they're more like Pittsburgh's level. It's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh gets ref calls like crazy in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wins. And they got a new quarterback, so who knows?
The Bills are a bit overrated right now, but here's the thing. That defense is phenomenal. They're a lot like the Bears from last year, where people are like, well, I'm not scared of their offense, but that defense, dude.
How do you beat the Bills? You play good defense.
And ball control.
You play good defense, Pittsburgh has a good defense. Pittsburgh wins.
You also need ball control.
I don't know. I'm not afraid of Buffalo's offense. I'm also not afraid of
My
Pittsburgh's
point
offense.
is, okay, so was at least last week's game between the Ravens and the Bills closer than you thought?
No, I thought it should have been more like 24-9, 24-10. I think the refs kind of made that score closer than it needed to be at the end, especially on the last drive. They got like 60 yards gifted to them.
Right, but you won by taking a lead, doing just enough to stay ahead, and getting first downs in spite of that crushing defense. The Steelers don't have that offense to do that in spite of it, and that's how you need to beat the Bills. You need to control the clock. So they at least need to have a good semblance on offense to match that good defense.
James Conner is okay, though.
James Conner?
Yeah, they have an okay rushing game. That they're getting, I think, Juju and another person back this week that's been out for a while. That might have been a hindrance to their offense a little bit, but they're not good. Buffalo's offense also isn't good. Let's just see who wants it more, honestly, because this is going to have major playoff implications. I don't care who wins. I just want to see who wants it more.
Okay. I just think Buffalo. I think that defense is too good. Okay.
They do have a good defense.
Mm-hmm.
They do.
Really?
They really do.
And then the Monday night game.
Indianapolis at New Orleans.
Well, that one's easy. So the Colts gave up, eh?
I'd say so. I think the Colts are done. They're at the point where I don't think they can make the playoffs at 9-7. I don't think it's good enough this year.
What was that rule you talked about a couple weeks ago with a good team losing and then coming back?
Yeah, they always bounce back.
Exactly. That's what good teams do.
No, it's when they get embarrassed.
And they got embarrassed.
No, I don't think they got embarrassed. They lost to a 49ers team.
Yeah, allowing 48 points.
They also scored 46.
Allowing, well, that's more embarrassing.
Against the number
you
2
scored
defense,
46 points and lost? That's really embarrassing.
46 points against the, I mean, it is at home, but it was
It's
against the number 2
embarrassing.
defense.
I mean, there's some metal in the quality of the opponent, but it's still not. There's who you lose to and it's how you lose, and that's a really bitter pill to take. So the Saints will bounce back. The Colts will just continue to lay down, and I think that concludes this week. I think that's an easy pick. You're going Saints too?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I wouldn't go Colts. I mean, even if they were like 10-3 at this point, 10-2, whatever. I don't think they're good enough.
Yeah. And I think that'll do it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Playoffs, huh?